Welcome to the GMC Suspension Guide. I'm really excited to have you here and to help you fix your Google Merchant Center suspension. You'll see in this guide, it's made up of three main sections. Firstly, your Google Merchant Center account. This section is all about the things you need to fix in your Google Merchant Center account. It includes product disapprovals, fixing your shipping settings, tax settings, business information settings, all that kind of stuff. The next section is all about your e-commerce store. It's so important. This is why this module has so many videos, because there are so many mistakes people make on their store that cause suspensions. I go through each of these one by one in this module to help you guys out. The last section is all about requesting a review. I go through all the different parts of requesting a review and what you can do to prepare for this, as well as the actual checklist that we use to audit stores. You'll see this in this section. You can use it on your own store, and there's 87 points right now. We're constantly adding to this as well. I really recommend going and checking that out, but also the videos in this guide explain those checklist points. So it is going to help. You can use that checklist, of course, use it, but also the videos, they're going to provide so much more information about why that point causes that suspension, but also what you can do to fix it. A few other things I want to talk about as well. Firstly, the first one is we can't guarantee that you're going to fix your suspension. I wish that we could, but because we're dealing with Google, who have their whole system, rules, algorithm, we've given you the best tools available to apply, request a review, and get your suspension lifted, but we can't provide guarantees. It's just the way it is. I wish we could, but this guide gives you the best shot to fixing the suspension. We've fixed multiple suspensions with this checklist and help people get their stores back on Google Shopping and running ads again. The second thing I'll say is that there is no support with this course. The reason for that is that I wanted to make this course very affordable to new store owners that don't have a lot of capital. So I've made it quite affordable compared to how much content and all the work that's been put into this. I really want to help you guys the best I can. It means we can't provide ongoing support. It just isn't sustainable with this small fee for this guide. Later, we have plans to create a membership program for e-com store owners that are going to help you guys by giving you unlimited access to our team, me, and so you can ask any questions, and we're going to audit stores, audit accounts. It's going to be super helpful, but that's going to come in the next few months. It's not there yet. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on this course. I hope it's super helpful. Go through all these videos, go through the checklist, and get your suspension lifted. And I'm really excited to see you get your ads live again and use Google Shopping, because it is so powerful when used effectively. I talk about this on my channel a lot. It is so powerful. So there you go, guys. Enjoy the guide, and I'll see you in the next videos. Talk soon. A Google Merchant Center suspension. So really what Google's doing here is that they're fully banning and stopping your Google Merchant Center account, so you can't run any Google Shopping ads. And they're going to do this for a number of reasons, and we're going to get into that in this course and even in this video here. But really what you need to do is you can't actually run any Google Shopping ads right now until you fix this issue. So you need to fix the problem, and then you have to go through a review process with Google in Google Merchant Center to get that account reinstated so you can start running shopping ads again. Generally, you can still run search campaigns, remarketing campaigns, but those beautiful shopping campaigns that can deliver a lot of sales and profits are stopped, and you can't run them at all. So we need to get this fixed. And so really, what can cause this suspension? There's many potential causes, and we're going to go over them in this course, and they do change over time, as in Google's getting better and better at using their AI and having their own checklist of what they need to check on your website and your Google Merchant Center account. So really, there's two main sources of problems, which is one in your Google Merchant Center account and one in your e-commerce on your e-commerce store. And don't take this suspension personally, okay? So when you get suspended, even though Google's doing this because they think that you might be doing something fishy, they think you're up to no good with your store, there's a good chance that you're not. There's a good chance you're authentically trying to create a good business here and trying to help people by selling them good products. Your store has just triggered their algorithm and it's suspended you. So you just need to find out what's caused that suspension, fix it, and then request a review. When I say here, it's often triggered by AI. So basically, Google is using all their algorithms to crawl your entire store and your Google Merchant Center account and even other websites on the web to find patterns that match other stores that are scammers. So there are some e-commerce stores, and this is what is giving rise to this increase in suspensions, is that a lot of stores out there, people are starting these stores to try and scam people. They're just making quick e-commerce stores on Shopify, running shopping ads, driving a lot of traffic, and then not shipping the products or shipping terrible products, creating a terrible user experience. And this actually reflects poorly on Google. So imagine if suddenly all these scammers came into the market, and then people are going and clicking on shopping ads, going to their stores and having a terrible experience. They're going to think that Google has a bad platform. They're going to think, oh, I'm not going to go to Google again to search for this product. I'm going to go straight to Amazon instead. And so Google's like, oh man, we got to fix this right now. We got to stop all these low quality stores, and let's only let in the really high quality, good stores that have strong brands and are doing all these things right. So all you need to do is really just fix up the little problems on your store or in your Google Merchant Center account. And you probably don't even know that this is what your problem is or what's causing it. And it could be just a tiny little thing. And so that's why in this course, we're going deep into all these different potential causes. So you can go through and find that issue, fix it, and then get your store unsuspended and running those Google Shopping campaigns. So here I've got a link to the shopping policies. So in this course, I go through a lot of the policies, but I also go through a lot of other things that aren't in the policies that Google is banning people for. And we know this because my team and I, we're getting so many emails from suspended stores that we're able to go through and see what's causing these problems, fix them, and then get these accounts unsuspended. So I put a link to the actual policies. It's a good idea to have a look at those. We're still going to go through a lot of them in this course here and show you how to fix them and why they caused the error and that sort of thing. Okay, examples of stores that are getting suspended. And you'll see throughout these videos in this guide, throughout these 30 videos, I talk a lot about different stores in particular, and I'll show you with my screen these stores that have been suspended, and I'll point out the errors, how that violates Google's policy or how it trips up with the checklist. So I'm going to show you this throughout these guys, and there's all these case studies. There's a lot of them, and so you'll be able to see these. And some of them they're not there, like the store isn't live anymore, or they've actually fixed the suspension now, so it may be different than what you see in these videos. That's just because I record these at a certain point in time, and then now the store owners fixed it, changed it, or what have you. But yeah, that's just the case, and you'll be able to see all these things because I want to give you examples. I don't just want to give you a checklist, but I want to show you, okay, what does it look like? Okay. I'm also going to put a video down below this video that's on my YouTube channel. It's not live yet, but it's almost live. It should be in the next week or two. That actually has a video where I go through all these stores and I audit them. Some of them are actually in this guide here, this course. But a lot of these stores that have policy violations, or they're going to be tripped up by Google's algorithm, and you're going to see that too. So that'll be helpful as well. But I'll also put in a list of stores that are not yet suspended. And this is going to be really, really helpful for you to see the standard, the benchmark, what sort of expectation you should have for your own store. A big thing I'll see in a lot of suspended stores, and I talk about this in this guide in the next few videos, is that their websites just don't build trust, okay? They're clearly drop shipping. They make all these mistakes. The stores I list below, they might make a few mistakes, but overall, they build a lot of trust. So I'll show them below as well. So the other thing I want to talk about is we've actually never had a client get suspended as our agency. And I'm not saying this to boast. I'm just saying that it's really interesting because the stores that are getting suspended, they're often beginners, they're new stores. They often haven't put a lot of time into their website, the design, or the brand. And they often don't take care of their Google Merchant Center account. So this is a huge thing that I'm going to talk about in this course that a lot of people don't even realize is a problem. And we're auditing a lot of stores. We have a service where we actually go through your account, everything, and find the issue for you. And we find that this is one of the most common things is that people have disapproved products in their Google Merchant Center account and they don't fix them and they just leave them there. Well, when we have with our own clients, we manage their Google Merchant Center account and we actually check the account every single day for disapprovals and we fix them really, really, really quickly. That's a really big reason why we haven't ever had a suspension, even though we work with lots and lots of clients. It's part of the reason. And another thing is that often they're already getting sales from other platforms. So this is a big thing. I skipped over this one, but I'll go back to it. So this is a big thing here is that a lot of the clients we work with, they're often already doing a couple of $1,000s a month in sales, $10K a month in sales. So they've already validated their site, their store, and they've made sure that they're creating good user experience already. And this is really important because Google's going to be looking at your website and even how people interact with it, the bounce rates, the load time. And if you're getting sales, there's a good chance that you've already kind of figured out a lot of the little beginner issues and little mistakes that you might be making on your store if you're a beginner. The other thing is that they have their legal pages set up properly. There's so many reasons for suspension, but these are the big ones that we see, especially the refunds and returns page. It's so important that you meticulously go through this page and make sure that it matches Google's standards and is very clear and upfront about the policies. So important. But you also need the shipping page, the privacy policy page, and the terms and conditions page. We have a video in this course that I go through all those pages and show you what you should really have on there. But that's another big thing as well. Another big thing is that, and this is linked in with this one here, is that they also follow our advice to build trust with their site, to create it to target their target market. So what this means is they really understand who they're selling to. So if they have a pet store, they understand pet owners really, really well. And their whole brand, their whole website, product pages, everything is really targeted towards these pet owners. The copy that's written, the photos and everything. And it just builds so much trust because people go to this store and they just go, okay, this is a legitimate store. It's got reviews, the branding is coherent and cohesive, it just makes sense. And that builds a lot of trust. And that also impacts the engagement rates on that site. In terms of bounce rates, conversion rates, all that sort of stuff. And Google's also crawling this site and comparing it to other stores that have been suspended. And if you've got a strong brand, then that plays in your favor for that suspension. The other things that we work with established brands, this is, like I said, they've already got revenue already. Usually they've validated their product because, that's for our management service, which costs more money for our clients, but they often can afford that because they've already done a lot of work to get those initial sales, and then we can help them scale after that. The last thing I'll say here is be 100% above board and create a long-term business, okay? So this is so important, guys, is that Google is just suspending your account. Maybe you are a scammer, hopefully you're not, but very small chance you are, but most of the time they just are sniffing something fishy going on. So they've just used their algorithm and they've seen potentially that you have the same product photos as your supplier, and they don't like that, or that you're just copying reviews from someone else. These little things that maybe you did it because you just tried to cut a corner and Google suspended you for that. Well, you could fix that and you can get unsuspended. But what I recommend is that with your business, go above and beyond and just create an authentic store. Really go. And it's so important here that you don't try and cut corners. And instead of saying, hey, what's the minimum I could do to get unsuspended? You start asking yourself, what's the absolute maximum I can do, not just to get unsuspended, but to create the best buying experience for my customers. And this is what I talk about through all my videos. It's just because with all those clients, that we work with, we've never had them suspended, these are the store owners that we will give them advice and they'll go and run with it, and their store will grow so quickly because they're going above and beyond to do everything they can to create the best experience for their customers possible. And that's really, really, really important. And like I say here, a lot of people are getting into e-commerce to make a quick buck, and they're just beginners and they're just trying to make money online, but they find suppliers that have terrible products, their shipping times are really long, and their customers don't enjoy the experience with that store. And so they get a lot of chargebacks and refunds and a lot of bad reviews, and even bad reviews on other sites like Trustpilot, Product Review, all these other websites that you can't control the reviews. And Google looks at those as well when they check the suspension. We go over that in this course too. So it's really important that you do this because you can't escape this forever. Like eventually you're going to get suspended if you just keep having a terrible store. It's just the long and short of it. Google's not going to stand it. Even like the last couple of months, Google has been suspending people like almost double the amount the prior month every single month. You can see this in the Google Trends. It's kind of crazy. And they're just getting better and better at spotting this and suspending people. So yeah, so really, really important. And this is something that I find really, really interesting is that a lot of people go through like a dropshipping course or some sort of course to set up their site, and they're just going to copy the same layout design and even the methodology of the course owner, which might be to find AliExpress products and copy all the photos, the descriptions, the titles, all the reviews, everything. And then suddenly you've got 10 to 20, 30 stores selling the same product, all dropshippers with this. And once one gets suspended, it like triggers a lot of them. And it's really interesting that I see this happening where a lot of people email me and they show me their store, and I look at it and I go, wow, I've seen this same, this is a copy of another store. And it's just happening again and again. And I think that's really important is that go on your own, guys, and go above and beyond and build your own store. And you do that by really talking to your customers, finding out what they want, and then creating a brand directly to those customers. That's really, really important, guys. The last thing I'll say here is, some people say, oh, but my competitor isn't suspended. They're still selling their products. Why did I get suspended? And they disagree with, the advice that we give, even though we can link them straight to the policies. And I think that this plays on with this bit here that I talk about here. It's like, don't try and do the minimum. And even if your competitor isn't suspended and they've been selling for years, Google is cracking down, and it's only a matter of time. But even then, you got to focus on your own store, focus on what you can control, which is your own store, your own Google Merchant Center account. And that's what we go through in this course. Also, don't take it personally. Google doesn't have a vendetta against you or, where you're from or your niche or your store name or anything like that. It's often just an algorithm. And even the people at Google, when we call them up, they often don't even know really that why it got suspended. And so that's why we go through everything in this course. So do the absolute maximum and focus on what you control. That's really, really important, guys. That's it for this video. Let's start getting into the different problems.